Hello everyone, I am Eclipsemon. So initially, I planned to do a ranking of every single collectathon games I've played. I don't have time to explain what a collectathon is, but all you need to know is that I eventually lost motivation to finish that video. Here are the placements if you are still curious about what the ranking would have been. However, I did record all of the lines for the video, and the segment where I talk about Super Mario Sunshine was way too passionate to go to waste. And it would still make for a 15 minutes video, so I can easily pass it off as its own standalone video. Yeah, my video length management is dog shit. Because of that, here is a video about me from several months ago yapping very passionately about Super Mario Sunshine. Hope you guys will enjoy! Before making this list, there were two games I was debating on including on the list or not. That's because, to me, these games don't really fulfill what I look forward to in a collectathon. You see, those two games follow more of an episode structure, where in order to get certain collectibles, you need to get a collectible from the previous episode. This means that even though the level design of those games is open-ended, for the most part, the progression and structure is more linear. Like, they are about as linear in terms of progression as Super Mario Galaxy 1, if not even more so. And like, most people agree that Super Mario Galaxy isn't quite a collectathon. And personally, what I love about collectathons is how you can jump into a world and choose to get collectibles in the order you want. An episode structure kind of goes against that, and I wasn't sure I wanted to include those two games. Now, after a discussion on Discord, I was convinced to include those games, so here we are. Now, you might think that because those two games don't have one of my main appeals for collectathons, I wouldn't like them as much as the other games on this list. Not necessarily. I do think an episode structure has its own appeal different from the traditional collectathon to still be able to create an incredible game. You can create more interesting scenarios thanks to progression from one event to the other. You can completely change the level between episodes to create new interesting challenges. In fact, spoiler alert, one of those two games is near the top of my list and embraces this episode structure to the fullest to create its own masterpiece. Super Mario Sunshine, on the other hand, is a game that, if anything, suffers more from its episode structure than it actually benefits from it due to multiple mistakes combined with each other. My relationship with Super Mario Sunshine is pretty damn weird because I feel like I have problems with it that nobody talks about, but also don't find the things people complain about nearly as bad as they say, if I even find them bad to begin with. Because of that, I have no idea where to begin with this game. I guess I can start by explaining why I don't think this game benefits from its more linear progression. And to do that, we need to explain several problems of Super Mario Sunshine that combine to create a much bigger problem. First, the controls of this game are so freaking sensitive. Jesus, like you barely touch the analog stick for 1 second and Mario runs 1,000,000 miles per hour. Peanut Butter Gamer is like the only person I know that talks about that. and I don't know why. But hey, the main selling point of the game is Flood. And Flood Over is amazing to prevent you from falling off the edge. And it's not like there are several missions in this game that prevent you from using Flood. Oh no. Okay, so in this game, there is what I like to call a cappella levels. Because there is this a cappella of the Super Mario Bros. Overworld team playing, which is neat. What isn't neat is that those levels ask you to execute some pretty fucking tight platforming without Flood and with those super sensitive controls. Like, those levels are legit harder and brutal than entire games on this list. It's not to mention the Sandbird, which might as well be a level without Flood. Let's be real, I fucking hate this level so much. But hey, surely you don't have to do these levels, right? Surely this game works like Super Mario Galaxy, where sure, you can do certain missions before another due to the episode structure, but at least you can get shines from other levels or secret shines that aren't tied to the episode structure to get enough shines to get to the final boss, right? That's literally how the other episode-like game on this list is structured too. In fact, surely these brutal as fuck shines aren't like the main episode shines. Surely they are bonus stars like the comets in Super Mario Galaxy with their special conditions to beat them, or capilless sub-areas in Super Mario Odyssey. Those a cappella levels are literally officially called by the game itself secret courses. They take place in their own pocket dimension separate from the main levels, making them part of their own episodes doesn't benefit the episode structure at all and wouldn't make sense. There is absolutely no way they are. So get this. In order to beat this game normally, you need to beat every episode 7 shines of the main levels. And you guessed it, you can't get the episode 7 shines without getting the episode 1 through 6 shines. And this is a problem for 2 reasons. First, this means that every episode 8 shines, every Delfino Plaza shines, every secret shines, and every blue coins are useless to progress in the main story and are only useful for full completion. And it makes Super Mario Sunshine a way less flexible game for challenges and stuff than Super Mario 64 or Odyssey, for example, which is a big part of why I played those two a billion times, why I only played Sunshine once. Second, and more importantly, take a wide freaking guess what those episodes 1 to 6 shines include. That's right, every single a cappella levels. Oh yeah, and they also include other super annoying shines that may not involve the a cappella levels at all. I already talked about the Sandbird, but there is also that blooper red coin mission. Shout out to the Sirena Beach episode 4, which is like, what if we got an a cappella level that took a billion years to even enter because of those casino panels that barely function? Basically, Super Mario Sunshine is easily the worst game to beat normally on this entire list, other than Balan Wonderworld. And beating Balan Wonderworld at something isn't an accomplishment. Let's be real. Only Donkey Kong 64 comes close. And even then, it's only because of the Nintendo 64 coin. And the worst part is that now that Donkey Kong Bonanza came out and made it possible to beat the entire game without any Bonanza gems or fossils, and therefore making several bits of the game required to beat it, I can definitely say that Super Mario Sunshine could have gotten away with forcing you to beat specific shines if they gave the other collectibles a substantial purpose to help you make the game easier, and, not making the required shines as brutal as freaking Breakdown Road! And the worst part is that the a cappella levels wouldn't even be that brutal if they were like in any other game than Sunshine. But no, they had to be in the game with the most sensitive controls on the planet. And oh yeah, it's also the game where there are no moves like the backflip or the ground pound jump to reliably jump higher while being on a standstill, and where you have to rely on the spin jump, the triple jump, or the side flip instead. That's something I haven't even mentioned yet. And don't think some of the optional missions aren't stupid too. Now, the one mission that everyone agrees is terrible is the Lily-Pad River. And that includes me. The Lily-Pad River Shine is the lawful evil of collectibles, because it feels like everything was perfectly calculated to make this shine as terrible as possible. I mean, explain the pipe at the end. Explain it, please. But then, you have the terrible shines not nearly enough people talk about. There is a shine in Rico Harbor that asks you to give Yoshi a specific fruit you get randomly by ground pounding a fruit machine over and over again. Why didn't any of you tell me a shine this terrible existed? Why is Yoshi more terrible to use in this game than he is fun? That low-key should be a crime punished by law. But then, you have me not finding the shines people actually complain about as bad as they say, which makes me go insane. The pachinko machine? Okay, it is terrible, but like, it's really not that bad to get done with it. The Manta Ray? Low-key the best shine in the entire game. I don't care. The blue coins in Corona Mountain? They are boring as shit to get, but I got all of them on my first try. We'll talk about the blue coins later, by the way. The pink balloons? Honestly, a totally fair challenge. The Watermelon Festival? Just kill the Calaquacs on the lower portion of the beach and it makes that mission way freaking easier. The 100 coin shines? Huh? The 100 coin stars in Super Mario 64 wished they were nearly as painless as those shines. Heck, I find getting thrown by a chuckster more reliable than jumping around with Mario without flood in most capital levels. Sue me! Now, funnily enough, I think trying to fully complete this game is more fun than doing the bare minimum to beat the main game, since it raises the proportion of fun stuff you do considerably. I actually like the 100 coin shines, like I said. There are several secret shines that are very fun to collect, especially in High Delphino. And then there are blue coins. Blue coins are actually my absolute favorite part of Super Mario Sunshine. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying this to be a contrarian. That is my honest, sincere opinion. In fact, if it wasn't for blue coins, Super Mario Sunshine would be ranked lower than Donkey Kong 64. And what's funny is that the reason why I love blue coins so much is the reason why I think the traditional collectathon formula is so fun. I love collecting these blue coins to reward my exploration and stay in the level to keep fighting more of them at a consistent pace. I don't give a shit that like 5 of those coins are a bit too obscure to get. This combined with the unnecessarily linear progression that actively hurts the game makes me think that this game would legit be a lot better if it was structured like Super Mario 64, or better yet, like a Banjo, Spyro, or modern Mario Collectathon game, where you keep collecting stuff without getting booted out of the level. Now, the other reason why I think this game is better than Donkey Kong 64 is because I will admit that if I was better at this game, I would most likely like this game a lot more. I have a lot of problems with this game's controls, but people more experienced with them often think these are some of the best controls in Mario history. Maybe I would like this game more if I was actually good at these a cappella levels, and all of this is a skill issue. In fact, maybe with this game coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 online at some point, which means it will be playable with save states, maybe it will be the perfect time to get good at this game by abusing save states until I get good at the game. Like I did with Super Mario 64 lol. I don't think it will ever be ranked super high on my list though, let's be real.